Good evening, everyone. My name is Kelly Fowler. I'm a financial coach with DREWBER Solutions. Welcome to ALIV's Financial Wellness Series, where we'll be bringing you information on budgeting, saving for your emergency fund, and debt management. So tonight, I'm kicking off the wellness series with the topic of budgeting. And I'll just start off by introducing myself a little bit. So, as I said, I'm a financial coach with DREWBER Solutions, which is a consultancy specializing in financial literacy. At DREWBER, our goal is to help you take control of your life, finances, business, and career to help you reach financial independence and personal success. As one of the personal financial coaches, I work very closely with young families so they can have a strong start and ultimately a strong financial finish to this life. So I like to speak with young families because I want to see people break free from the limiting beliefs surrounding money, and in doing so, break some unhealthy generational cycles. My goal is to instill the values of planning, saving, and investing, and for people to understand that this is achievable. It may not be easy, but it is achievable. You don't need a fancy degree to manage your money well. All you need is a willingness to learn. My MBA studies taught me how to manage business finances, not how to manage personal finances. I learned how to manage personal finances from my parents and from educating myself independently. You can have all the degrees in the world and still be in over your head in debt and living paycheck to paycheck. So there are people who are making $2,500 a month and they're saving 1,000. And then there are people who are making $4,000 a month and they are spending $4,000 a month or even more. And that's possible because they may be purchasing everyday items like groceries on credit. So it's not how much you know or how much you make. It's what you do with what you know and what you do with what you make that matters. I hope that what I share tonight will help you to establish plans for yourself so that your families will be better off because of you, not only now, but for generations to come. So, tonight I will share on one of the most fundamental tools in your financial planning toolkit, and that is your budget. What is it? Why is it important? And how to budget most effectively. So, when you think of budget, when you see the word budget, what comes to mind? Is it a bad word? A lot of people think of budget as the dreaded big bad B word. They have negative associations with the word. So it's time to change those negative associations to positive ones. It's time to separate the facts from the myths. So a lot of people tend to think of a budget and they think that a budget is for cheap people, which is not, or a budget is for broke people, which it is not, or a budget is for old people, which it is not. A budget is for everyone. All a budget really is a tool to evaluate where you are on the journey to where you want to be. You can call it just that. So on my screen, I have some options that you can choose from, or you can create your own. So if budget is a bad word to you, you can call it something else. You can call it what it is, a spending plan, a cash flow plan. You can call it a money map. It should not feel like a prison because it's based on your own needs and wants. The limits are boundaries for your own security. The limits allow you to spend on certain things up to a certain amount so that you experience no guilt when you spend, save, and give. So, budgeting is a lot like driving. If you don't know where you are, it is complete confusion and utter frustration trying to get to your destination. So, first things first, where are you trying to go? What are your personal goals? In order to create a plan or a map, you need to have a start and a finish. Where are you and where do you want to go? I have some generational profiles here. So let me know if you see yourself or anyone you know in these. And just as a disclaimer, I just made these up. These are not based on real people. So just know that. So first up is our baby boomer. Let's call her Miss Rule. She may be a few years away from retirement, still owes $100,000 on her mortgage, but she's not overly concerned because she anticipates NIB and she has children whom she expects to take care of her. There's no real clarity in her mind as to how much the NIB payment might be, or what her expenses are each month, or even if there might be a gap between retirement and the beginning of the NIB payments. She just pays the bills as they come. Her husband will likely have to continue working well past retirement age just to support them. She may also have to negotiate for a contract or other jobs to pay the bills after retirement age when she realizes that maybe the NIB payment is not enough to cover her debt payments or her everyday payments or both. Ideally, an individual should be debt-free by the time they reach retirement age, but this is not always the case. So in her case, in the case of Ms. Rowe, a budget would help her to understand her current financial position and what she needs to do to have a comfortable retirement and not be a burden on her children and their families, but rather be a blessing to them. While she may be nearing retirement, it's not too late for her to take control and to live more intentionally. There's a Chinese proverb that says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So she should have started thinking about this many, many years ago, but she's still here. She still has life. She still has a future. So the second best time is now. Now here we have our Gen Xer. We can call her Denise. She may have two children. Maybe one is about to start college. The other is at a private school. She may be operating on a reduced income. Maybe her husband was laid off due to COVID. And she's trying her best to manage everyday expenses, but is often overwhelmed. She knows she needs to prepare for school fees and the other expenses that seem to come up every month, but she's busy trying to manage the day-to-day. A budget would help her to feel more in control and less stressed because she can then make the necessary plans to meet present and future needs. Here's our Gen Y. We can call her Ashley. Ashley is concerned about her 2-year-old son, the cost of healthcare, childcare, the expensive housing market. She joined an ASU because someone said that it would help, yet she feels broke. She feels personally and professionally stuck. Does anybody see themselves in any of these people so far? So in her case, in Ashley's case, budgeting would help to give her clarity. From there, she can determine if in fact she needs a job change and what her options are. She may also find that the ASU is not helpful and that there are much better ways to save. So she can take the savings principle of the ASU, because many people use it as a sinking fund type of savings, and apply it at a financial institution where the money can earn interest for her and she doesn't have the added risk of another person defaulting, especially in this extremely unstable job market. Gen Y are some of the busiest and most stressed people because they are side hustling like crazy and just trying to make ends meet. So if you are someone like this, you have to be careful, because if you are not keeping track and you don't have goals, you may get swept up in this very toxic hustle culture, when in reality, you should be seeking a balanced life. So you can be side hustling like crazy, doing this and that and everything. You have 5 different jobs going on, just trying to bring in income, yet you always feel stressed because you're not keeping track and you don't know what's going on. You're just burning yourself out. You have to be very, very, very careful about that. A budget will help you to stay on track. Now we have Gen Z. Let's call her Tia. Tia may be new on the job. She's highly qualified, highly motivated. She's ready to make some money and to make some positive change. She's wanting to live life to the fullest. She may want to start investing and make some moves, but she is not necessarily clear on how to do that. And this can become very frustrating. Now for Tia, once she determines what she wants to do and what she wants to invest in, a budget will help her to get there. There was a viral post going around on social media recently in the past months that said, I don't know how I'm going to fit all 12 of my vacations and save for a house in 2022, but I serve a miracle working God, #manifesting. And this was the biggest joke, partly because many people feel like it's impossible to do. But if you really think about it and we're serious about it, it is kind of doable. So some people are not even aware of what they're earning. They complain that they don't make enough. Everybody thinks they don't make enough. But when you actually look at your salary, account for everything, for some of these people, it's possible to have 12 vacations in a year. If, for example, it's a day away or an Exuma excursion, you do a Saturday a month, or you even get together and do a staycation with your girls or your boys, and it's doable. And once you have an idea of how much of a home you can afford, and how much of a down payment you would want to have, you can start saving for that along the way. So it is actually possible. Some people, if they would account for their salary and their bonuses, the total compensation sometimes may be around $80,000, but they're not realizing it. Some people, they may be living at home, their bills, they're not paying bills, their expenses are very low. Um, their salary, all they really spend on is like craving. When they don't feel like eating whatever was cooked, they just order out. Those people, this is very possible to do. So when you feel unclear, stuck, or overwhelmed with the demands on your finances, or if you just want to improve yourself, you should investigate what it is you need or want, write it down, and make a budget that will get you there. It does not matter the stage of life. You need a budget when there's something you want to accomplish that requires your money. So if you save to travel and the money travels first, you know you need a budget. So you may be thinking to yourself, yeah, maybe this is a good idea. Maybe I need to try this. I wish I had started this a long time ago. Don't panic, just get organized. So the key thing in order to start organizing your finances is to make a budget, track your spending. You can track your spending for a week or so and see where exactly your money is going. This will help you to evaluate. Then you can determine what you want to happen with the money. And when you're determining what exactly you want, this is basically goal setting. So when you're setting your goals, make them SMART. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. These will help you to actually attain the goals and not just you wishing that you accomplished something. It's more concrete. So these are now your financial goals, and these are what you will form your budget around. When you start to see what's happening with your money, you can improve on your systems. And when I say systems, this is just the way that you're operating, the way that you're doing life right now. You can look at how you can reduce your expenses if you need to, and you can look at how you can strategize to increase income if you need to. This is all about taking the big picture and breaking it down into small, actionable steps. So now, again, one of the biggest hindrances to people making a budget is the perception that it is hard. You may be one of these people and you think, okay, yeah, a budget is cool, but I don't do numbers. I hated math. I went to law school. I did liberal arts because I was trying to get as far away from math and numbers as possible. I'm here to tell you that it is not complicated. It does not have to be hard, and you don't have to be a mathematician or a financial genius to put a budget together. There are lots of easy, convenient ways to maintain a budget. So if you're earning money, you should take the time to learn how to budget so that you can manage your money well. Miles Monroe once said that whatever you mismanage, you lose, and it is so true. You do not want to lose your hard-earned money. It does not have to be complicated. Simply put, all a budget is your expenses in light of your income. So you can take your income and assign it to your expenses. Depending on the method that you choose, you may have income left over or you may have zero. We recommend that people budget to zero because it ensures that every dollar of income is accounted for and nothing is going to waste. Typically, when a lot of people are doing their budgets, they just list out the bills that they have to pay, and it often leaves money left over, and then they can't say like where the money went. So there are 3 general types of budgeting methods. The most basic one is the line item budget, and it's just where people list out all their expenses, the things that they have to pay. And I find that a lot of Bahamians seem to do this. This is what they think a budget is. So they just list like BPL, water, gas, groceries, insurance payment, and that's about it. And a lot of people are making more money than they spend on expenses. So the leftover money is just either floating around in the purse or the wallet or the bank account and providing a false sense of security. So you're looking at it and thinking, oh, I have some money. I could buy this. I could do this. I could do that. But that's not necessarily the case. Like maybe you should be saving that leftover money or investing that leftover money so that it can work for you. Another type of budgeting method is the proportional budgeting method. And it's just where you take your income and you assign your income to expenses by percentage. Like you take a percentage of your income and assign it to either savings or needs or wants, whatever it may be. And then you have the zero-based budget. And that is, again, where you list out all of your expenses, but you include any planned saving or giving or investing, and you just budget everything until you have zero. So it helps you to think critically about every single dollar. So the 50-30-20 is one type of budget, and it's very popular. It's a proportional budget. And how it works is 50% of the income is assigned to needs, and needs may include food, shelter, utilities, and transportation. 30% is assigned to the things that you want. This may include new clothes, vacation, entertainment, events. And then the remaining 20 is assigned to saving. Savings may be for a home, for your education if you want to go back to school, a new car, or retirement. The thing about the proportional budgets or the 50-30-20 is a lot of people may find that it's too strict. So if you are somebody who doesn't really have a lot of needs, you may want to save 50% and do something a little differently so it won't look like this. So you might as well just call it a general zero-based budget and just do it that way. A zero-based budget is where you list all of your income from all sources at the top, and then you list out all of your expenses. So again, you include any planned giving and saving. You can also include a miscellaneous expense line for the things that you may overlook. You can also include some fun money to have fun with. But the thing is, you just think about how much goes toward each thing. So you assign every dollar of income until your balance is zero. And then finally, you track your spending regularly to ensure that you're remaining within your budget. And it's not an exam. You adjust the budget as needed. This is something that you can tailor so that it's guided by your own individual goals. So here is an example of a zero-based budget. This is some screenshots from DREWBER's free budget template. Do not be alarmed by all of the fields that you see here or all of the categories. It's just a template so you can customize it to your own personal needs. You take what is relevant to you and you can delete the other fields that are not. A lot of these have to do with childcare. So if you don't have children, automatically half of these are gone. So this is something that you can take and make your own and use to track your spending if you are a spreadsheet type of person. So you'll see two sets of columns to enter your money. The first is budgeted, because ideally you should be doing your budget before the month starts or before you get your paycheck. So you plan out where all of your money you want it to go. And then as the month progresses or the pay period progresses, you track your spending and you insert what you actually spend. So you see what is planned versus what is actual. And then at the bottom, you'll see your totals. You'll see any income that is left to be budgeted. And then if there's anything remaining, you'll see that. So if you're not really a spreadsheet type of person, if that's not too convenient for you, there are also other alternatives. There are budget apps that you can test out and try. There are so many of them that you can research and download and try for yourself and find what works for you. These are two of the most popular, and these are zero-based budgets too. So they align with that budgeting method. The first that you see here is the Every Dollar app. It's by DREWBER Solutions. And then the other here is You Need a Budget, YNAB, their app. They're both zero-based. And what I love about these, I use the Every Dollar app. What I like about this, and both of them do this, they allow you to make fields into funds. So the fund feature makes it easy for you to track your savings goals. You can keep track of multiple sinking funds. A sinking fund is just a savings account where you put aside a little bit of money from every paycheck to go towards something, like if you're trying to save up for a house or vacation or Christmas or birthdays, whatever. You can create a line item in the budget, make it a fund. So from every paycheck, once you assign whatever amount to that item, it will show you the running balance. So you don't have to calculate anything. Again, you don't have to do any math. All you have to know is your income, and then you track your spending from there. And another note here is these apps and everything are cool, but the budget will only work as well as you do. You have to be disciplined to input your spending in the first place and then adjust as needed. So outside of that, everything is pretty streamlined and smooth, but you have to remember to actually input your spending into your budget. So here are some budgeting resources, and I will put these in the chats on Facebook and YouTube so that you have them. The first is the link to the free DREWBER budget template that you can download and make your own. The next is a link to some budgeting tools. So if you are more of a pen and paper type of person, you can click on this link and it'll take you to a site where you can download some forms that you can print and you can use as much as you want. And then the third is a workbook of financial templates. It's something that I made because I found that my clients were still a little bit unsure. So I created this. It's a budget template, zero based. It's also a net worth calculator within it. And it's also a debt tracker. So it's a loan amortization schedule that's bundled in there also. So at the same time that you're budgeting, you can also keep track of your loan payments. So you don't always have to inquire with the bank. You can track it yourself. So that's something that's free for you to use too. Just click on the link and it'll take you there. So now the budget process. Budgeting is all about living intentionally. So you know where you can find the budget, you know how it works. Now the process, when you go into your budget, what do you do? So the first thing that you should prioritize are your needs and then your wants. We often refer to the needs as the four walls because they're almost like a shelter around you. It's food, ensuring that you allocate money for food, shelter, whether it's your rent or mortgage payment, utilities, keep the lights on, keep the water running, and transportation. That's what's taking you to and from work and enabling you to provide the income. So these are the four things that you should put into your budget first, and then you can budget for your wants and whatever comes next. And make sure that you include any planned saving, giving, and investing within that process. So if you're married, you should budget together with your spouse. It will help you to get on the same page and to stay on the same page when you're discussing everything regularly. So maybe you might want to set your budget before the beginning of the month, but then you want to check in on the budget every so often, maybe every other week, or just set budget dates to discuss the budget. This way, nobody feels left out of the loop or slighted. It can avoid a lot of money fights. When you budget together, it can also lead to a lot of cool conversations because you discuss your goals, which goal to tackle first, your dreams, your hopes, your desires, your fears, family. You plan out all of these things, and it can actually bring you closer together. So it's worth the while to budget together, not just for your money, but it might also strengthen your relationship too. So at the same time that you're doing your budget, it helps if you have your calendars too. Have your calendars open so that you can schedule your plans for the month. For a lot of people, if things are not scheduled on the calendar, it won't get done. So make sure you schedule when your payments are due, whatever's coming up, things that you want to do together, plans that you have for the family so that you can make sure it actually gets done. So for married couples, it may help to set up a shared Google Calendar. On it, you can put the payment deadlines and goal target dates so that you both have access to it. You can see what's going on. Again, everybody's on the same page. If you're using a budget app, both you and your spouse should share the same login information so that it syncs to both of your phones. Again, stay on the same page. You can tell a lot about somebody by where they spend their money and where they spend their time. So try to be consistent, be intentional, make sure that where you're spending your money and where you're spending your time, it reflects the values that you want it to reflect. So prioritize those things. When you're doing your budget too, it's important to be patient with yourself. Getting the hang of the budget, it may take about 3 months. So don't get down on yourself if you find it a little difficult or you forget to track 1 week. Just be patient with yourself. A question that we get often is, how do I budget if my paycheck is irregular, my income is irregular. So if you are a freelancer or you have an irregular income, you can use the lowest income that you can expect for the month and then prioritize your expenses that way. So as the money comes in, you can pay in order of priority your expenses. And importantly, track your spending and adjust as needed. It's not an exam. This is yours. You don't have to turn it into anybody. This is just between you and the budget. So what a budget really is a plan for your spending, giving, and saving. So I just wanted to touch on those three things also, because I speak to a lot of women, and I find a common issue here is they are overgivers. They tend to give more than they are able to or more than they actually should. So set healthy boundaries. In one instance, I was speaking to a lady. She had a husband. She also had a young child. We were looking through her budget. We couldn't account for about $500 of the budget. After a lot of thinking, she remembered that, oh yeah, somebody, so and so asked me for some money. I gave it to this person, and then later on, she told me that she planned to give $1,000 to someone each month to help them, but she was only making maybe $2,500 a month, and that's half of her income. And her husband had been laid off from COVID, and it just was not a good situation. So, if you are a giver, it's great to be a giver. Giving is great. If you're a giver, remember to learn your limits because the takers don't have any. Also, in this particular case, family members seem to like hit up this individual more than anyone else. They had siblings, and if anybody needed anything, they would go to this person. And it's because she had extremely weak boundaries. So ladies and gents, like if you know that you're a giver, please, please, please be careful, because if you're over giving, you're really jeopardizing yourself. You may be jeopardizing your marriage. You may be jeopardizing your children's futures because you need to be able to secure them. And there's also such a thing as financial abuse. So financial abuse normally accompanies domestic abuse, and it's the misuse or use of money to control someone else. So just something to be mindful of. What you allow continues. So be very careful about the things that you allow. And if you feel uncomfortable with the situation or somebody's asking you for something and you know like you can't really do it, just be strong about that. And in some cases, some people may come to you and they try to make their problems your problems. Don't allow that. In my case, a few years ago, this happened to me. Somebody was coming to me trying to make their problem my problem, and my mom gave me some really good advice. If you see somebody with a 200-pound gorilla on their back and they come to you and they reach around and try to take that off and put it on yours, just don't let them. Be very careful with that. Don't give away half your salary when you know it puts you in a compromising position. And also, never give or lend what you can't afford to lose, just as the general rule. So spending, it's important to spend wisely. In order to spend wisely, track your income. You want to compare prices and negotiate before settling, especially in the case of big purchases. You can create sinking funds for large expenses, and also ignore the Joneses. We all know about the Joneses, and some people really try to keep up with them. No need to do that. If you have a decent income or you're a high earner and you keep your expenses low and you avoid lifestyle inflation and you have no desire to impress anyone, you are on a path to build some serious wealth. So just remember that. Make sure the things that you decide that you want to achieve in life, that they're actually your goals and not someone else's that you're trying to accomplish at the end of the day. So saving, it's important to make room for saving in your budget for a number of things. So you should be saving for your planned expenses. Those are your present and future needs and wants. And you should also be saving for your unplanned expenses. This is a big question mark. You don't know exactly what it's for, but this is your emergency fund. It's for those things that come up immediately, that they need your attention, they are urgent, and they are necessary. And that's how you know something is an emergency. It's necessary, it's unplanned, it's urgent. So make sure that you always are maintaining an emergency fund on the side. And then you also may want to be saving to invest in something in the future. Sometimes some investments take an outlay of cash. For example, if you want to invest in real estate, you may want to be saving up for a down payment. So you want to be saving for your planned expenses, unplanned expenses, and also to invest in the future. Okay, so now you know how to make a budget. A budget, again, is one way to ensure that you have enough money for the things you need and want and for unexpected emergency that may arise. It can keep you out of debt or help you to work your way out of debt. Overall, it helps you to take control of your money and takes some of the stress out of living. It should help you to save, spend, and give wisely. So that's what a budget is. It's a tool to evaluate and make changes if you need to achieve whatever it is that you want. But behind the scenes, it's doing a lot of things for you. So it's the first step to financial independence and can aid you in increasing your net worth because you're planning to pay down your debt or stay out of debt. You're maximizing your investment potential and you are building generational wealth. So many good reasons to learn how to budget and to get started. So if a budget is so helpful, why doesn't everybody do it? People are not budgeting for a number of reasons, some of which they believe that they don't make enough. So they may be saying, well, I don't have nothing to budget in the first place. Some people may not budget because they don't know how or they're intimidated. Again, they say they're not good at numbers, so they can't do this. Or some people may not be budgeting just out of a lack of discipline. They just don't want to be bothered. But if you're living paycheck to paycheck, tracking your spending may be key to getting you out of survival mode. All of these things are really just limiting beliefs. So if you start tracking your spending, you will see where your money's going, how much more do you need to live comfortably, what can you change or do to get yourself there, and you can start brainstorming about ways that you can increase your income. So if you're one of those people who think like you don't make enough, well, you need to start making enough. You need to start tracking your income. You need to look at how you can maybe reduce expenses. Maybe you need to increase your income one way or another. Maybe you need to start doing something on the side that can help you, because ultimately you need to try to get yourself out of survival mode, out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle. So some people think that it's just too hard. Like I've shown you, it can be very simple. There's no need to be intimidated by budgeting. If you are still not sure how to get started with your budget, you can connect with a financial coach who can walk you through the process. If you don't feel like you have the discipline, you can find an accountability partner or connect again with a financial coach who can hold you accountable. Also, something that would keep you motivated, you need to know your why. Your why is just that thing that is going to keep you going when you don't feel like going any further. So when you think about what you're saving for, you also want to think about why. What are your motivations for wanting to budget or save or even listening to this presentation in the first place? This is your why. It should be one that is strong enough to keep you motivated on your financial journey. Think about your why and make it meaningful enough to motivate you. There's a saying that goes, if your why doesn't make you cry, then it's not strong enough. You can start general, but then you can get to the root of it by asking yourself why about 5 more times. So hopefully after that, you get to the heart of the matter and the value behind the thing that it is that you want. So remember, money is just a tool. It is not an end in itself. So for some of you who struggle with overspending and you may want to reduce your spending, here are some strategies that you can do that. So of course, first start budgeting and tracking your spending. Set money goals and keep them at the forefront of your mind. Those are what are going to keep you excited about it and keep you focused. Use the envelope method. So some categories within your budget, they're conducive to using cash envelopes. So for example, groceries, if you find yourself overspending on groceries, you can start planning out your meals and then put the cash in an envelope. And when you go to the grocery store, just take the envelope or just the amount of cash that you would need. So when you run out, it's done. Like there's no more. That should kind of keep you kind of within your boundaries, because once you see that the cash is running low, you'll be like, oh snap, I need to like do something about this. So you can try the envelope method. Have an accountability partner who can vet your unplanned spending. So for example, if you have a close friend, you can say, Kiara, I want you, like, if I see something that's not in my budget, I haven't planned for it, and it's over $100, I'm going to call you and I want you to hold me accountable. If you disagree with me spending $100 or more on this thing, then I won't do it. So that's just an example of having an accountability partner who can check you. For some people, this might even be your spouse. So if you say, like, if something comes up over $50 that's not in the budget, you have to check in with the spouse. And if they agree, then fine. But if they don't, then it's a no. Another thing you can try is use the wait and see rule. If you see something that you would like to spend on that's not in the budget, you can wait, say, 24 hours or so. And then after that time, if you still want it or need it, then maybe you can consider getting it. Otherwise, the emotion has probably passed and you will come to the realization that you never needed it in the first place, or you don't even want it anymore. The next thing, set boundaries with others. So again, if you are one of those people who find yourself like giving away everything you have, you need to set some firm boundaries with those people who are always hitting you up for money. And you don't have to be stingy or mean or anything like that. It's just a matter of knowing how much you can give up to. And then just helping people in other ways. So you can say, like, is there any other way that I can help you with whatever it is that's going on? And you can do that instead. And finally, to reduce your spending, you can stay motivated by learning more. So if you surround yourself with information and people and things that are encouraging you to get wealthy by being in control, self-discipline, and all of these things, that will help too. So for example, you may want to follow some social media pages that motivate you to hit money goals, and that might keep you going and help you to reduce your spending too. So for those of you who find that there's not enough right now, here are some ways that you can consider to increase your income kind of fast. So the quickest way to increase your income, or some people say give yourself a raise, is by looking at your budget and reducing expenses immediately. So for example, you may be able to save by eating breakfast at home or packing lunch instead of buying lunch out. You can sell items that you no longer need or want. You can do this on social media marketplaces or wherever else. You can bake food and sell. You can cook food and sell. You can grow or pot seedlings or other plants and sell. When those celebratory times come around, you can request cash gifts instead of goods. So birthdays, Christmas, you can say, I'm working on this goal. I would appreciate monetary gifts instead of random things. You can monetize your hobbies, your gifts, your talents, your skills. Something that's really easy to do these days is producing ebooks, or a lot of people are getting into digital illustrations. You can do your digital illustrations and sell them online or create stickers. You can create your own book. So you can do a storybook, or you can even do something called low content books and sell them on Amazon. It costs you nothing to do. You can create these things in Canva. They can be like notebooks or journals. You just have some beautiful illustrations. You can even throw in some motivational quotes or something inspirational in there. And that's a product that you can make available to the public to help you increase your income. I actually am testing out this with my son. Me and my husband, we wrote a children's book with my son and also for him and for our godchildren. And this is something that we're doing to try to teach him about money as he grows older and save spend, give. So 10% of the proceeds will also be donated to Bilney Lane Children's Home for him. So this is a project that we're working on doing this exact method. So you can check me in a few months and I can let you know how that's going. So yeah, so think about different ways that you can increase your income. Some of them are pretty quickly things that you can do fast. And don't be afraid to try. A lot of people don't do things because they're afraid to fail. Yes, failure is a possibility, but so is success. So what if you fail? Learn and grow from the experience. There's no reason not to try. Some things are just at our fingertips right now, and we can just give it a try, capitalize. Like, so what if you fail? You might also succeed. So, troubleshooting the budget. If you still find yourself struggling with going over budget or impulsive spending, you can try some of these things. So, if you have a savings goal and you find that it's just not working out right now, you can try paying yourself first. So, it's prioritizing the savings goal above the rest of the things in the budget. So, a lot of people save what's left after spending, but try spending what's left after saving. So save first, make your transfers to your savings accounts once you get paid, and then live off of the rest. If you say that you can't keep track of your receipts, take photos of the receipts. You can try that, and then set aside a time once a week where you go through the photos and just input whatever the amounts are that you spent. Or if you're using your debit card, just go into your internet banking and go over where your money was spent and input it into your budget. Set reminders. So if you keep forgetting, the consistency thing is a problem for you, you can set reminders in your phone that will pop up however frequently, at the end of the day, at the end of the month, at the end of the week, however often you need, to remind you to check in with the budget and input your spending. Again, you can try the cash envelopes for areas that you keep going over budget. So put the cash in the envelope, and once you see it's running low, you have to control yourself. Or once you see that the money is gone, well, obviously you got to stop spending on that thing. You can find an accountability partner, someone who's going to help you along, someone you can call and say what's going on, and they can hold you accountable. Again, you can try the wait and see rule or the 24-hour rule. If you find that you're somebody who spends money when you are emotional, like a lot of people practice retail therapy. So if they're sad or overwhelmed or frustrated or angry, they go shopping. So it's if you are one of those people, just be aware. And once the emotion has subsided, then you can shop. Otherwise, just hands off when you're emotional. Avoid buy now, pay later schemes. A lot of people get trapped by that because when it comes time to pay, now you have to pay the price with interest on top. Unsubscribe from marketing emails. Remove pre-populated payment details, and disable the Amazon one-click feature. Some people are scrolling online, scrolling on Amazon, and it's just too easy. So you can disable that feature if you need to. So here we are. Your budget is something that will reveal a lot. It will reveal what your income is, total income, monthly expenses, your net worth, how much of an emergency fund you might need. We normally say 3 to 4 months worth, 3 to 6 months worth of expenses for your emergency fund. So once you know what your expenses are, you can just multiply that by the amount of months, and you'll have how much of an emergency fund you might need. It will tell you your retirement figure based on your current expenses, and it'll show you your spending habits. So when armed with this information, it should give you clarity and confidence in moving forward. However, be careful that you don't focus so much on the end goal that you lose sight of the present. This is a lifelong journey, so have fun. Be intentional about that too. Spend time with your kids. Make special memories with your family and friends. Build and maintain great relationships that give your life quality. It's not just about the quantity in your bank account. Don't say, when I have X amount of money, then I'll be happy. Once your systems are in place, and you know, like each month I'm saving this much is going there. Once you have your systems in place, enjoy your life where you are on the journey to where you're going. Enjoy the journey. So here are some resources that I have found helpful, and you might too. These are some books. Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. 18 to 80, it's a simple and practical guide to money and retirement for all ages. It's a book that tells you from ages 18 up to age 80, the things that you should be thinking about or the things that you should be doing. So, for example, it's when you should be considering life insurance, when you should be saving up for your down payment, or how to save up for your down payment if you want to buy a home, all of these different things. It's very, very useful and such a good book. The Psychology of Money. This is just giving you information on how a lot of people handle money, and that in fact it's not what you know, but the things that you do. It's behavior over knowledge, really. Smart Money, Smart Kids by Dave Ramsey and his daughter Rachel Cruz. This is very helpful for parents and guardians in teaching your kids how to manage money. And then Debt Free Degree by Anthony O'Neill. It's very helpful in understanding ways that you can send your kids to school without debt. And then finally, if you're somebody who is always on social media, follow helpful accounts. So that's all. Now you know how to budget. And I hope that it was helpful to you. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat and I will try to answer them for you. Okay, I'm looking for questions now. Let's see. Yes, you can ask a few questions. Okay, I hope the information was helpful to you or will be in the future, whoever is watching this now or in the future. I know that it was a lot of information, but I just want to see if I could help people, as much people as possible, while I have this one opportunity. Oh, yes. Okay. I will share the links right now. And if you need further help, feel free to contact us at DREWBER Solutions. DREWBERSolutions.com is the website. We have a team of financial coaches who are here to assist you just with everyday expenses, life, your finances. Okay, let's see. Okay, somebody asked, what are the books again? I'll put them in the chat. Okay, are credit unions better than banks for saving? A lot of credit unions do offer higher interest rates. So yes, they can be. It's something that you can check. All of them have different rates, so you can check the rates. Another option for if you're saving, for example, like a down payment on a home, you can look into a money market account. They tend to be high yield, like have higher interest rates than banks too. Does financial coaching have to be a long-term, consistent process, or is this something that you can do for a short amount of time? Yes, it's not a long process. It's a short amount of time. It's actually whatever you want. It could be one session, or it could be three, or it could be whatever you need. Yeah, there's no set amount of sessions that you need. It's whatever you need or whatever you want. Okay, I'll put the website. I know C-File has a money market account. Okay, I think that we're done. No? Okay, so thank you all for tuning into this presentation. Again, it's the first in ALIV's financial wellness series. So next week will be Lakeisha Rule. She's going to be presenting on emergency funds. So it's just savings. So you learn how to save. She is like the savings guru of DREWBER. So you want to be there for that. She's the expert saver. And then the following week will be Nathaniel Butler. He'll be talking about debt management. So thank you all for tuning in. If you have further questions, you can feel free to contact any of us at DREWBER. My email address is kelly@drewbersolutions.com, but you can also email info@drewbersolutions.com or call the number on the website and we will help you. Okay, the website is in the chat, so feel free. Okay, I'll put my email in the chat. Okay, I think we're done. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great evening.